All right, everybody, back again. Chris Aguirre, Press Pass with Chris. I'm joined by somebody who I've known for a while, a long time, Tristan Lujan, Michigan State wrestler, former Selma High standout. So just Tristan, how's everything been going with you, man?
Good. Just been getting used to going to school and wrestling at the same time. It's my first time actually back in person in 3 years. So just been going to school and doing that and wrestling at the same time.
Nice, nice. So, just first of all, I mean, you're going to be entering your junior year here at Michigan State coming up. I think November 5th, you guys open at the Michigan State Open. So, just what are you excited for? Entering your junior year at Michigan State.
I'm excited for our new schedule this year. We're slated to travel a lot more this year, so it's gonna be fun traveling with my team, getting some good experiences, and yeah, just looking forward to this new year. Trying to be an All American this year, so it should be fun.
Nice, nice. I know last year, you competed at the 125 weight class. I know you had a little bit of an injury, so kind of interrupted your season, but you did qualify for the Big Ten Championship. So just how was your sophomore year, hitting the mat, kind of getting that college experience?
It was definitely a difficult one because my first tournament I broke my hand, so that was definitely hard to bounce back from. But it taught me a lot, and it taught me a lot of what I needed to know coming into this year and what the Big Ten is really all about.
What was the biggest, I guess, growth that you had from your freshman year? I know you did compete in some non-affiliated tournaments, but I know last year as a sophomore you were really competing. But what was the biggest thing that you've learned over the last 2 years that you're going to take for your junior year here?
I think the biggest thing is probably just being tougher. Nothing's gonna come easy, and nobody's a slouch in D1 or in the Big Ten. So everybody's gonna be tough. So I got to go hard the whole time.
Um, I know you kind of mentioned it. Obviously the last 2 years have been crazy. For the entire world. With this whole COVID-19 pandemic. But how have you handled that, especially being a wrestler? Having that close contact during competition. How has it been for you competing? During the time of COVID-19, and how excited are you? To finally get back to normal a little bit.
There's been a lot of ups and downs since I started college. In the beginning, we didn't know if our season was to actually start. It was up in the weather my freshman year, so we didn't necessarily know whether we'd be competing or not. And there were some protocols we had to follow last year, but it wasn't too bad. And this year, I'm just excited that we don't have no restrictions or anything to go through, so it should be full go all year.
What are you looking forward to most? Getting back on the mat the junior year. I know like we were discussing earlier, you did make the Big Ten championships, so I know you had that experience. But just what have your coaches been telling you? Entering the year that they're hoping for a big year for you.
Just excited about getting at nationals this year. I was one match away from qualifying last year, so I'm hoping to make that jump this year and All American, and I'm just excited just to be out on the mat with my teammates. So, yeah.
Obviously coming from Selma, a high wrestling prestige there in that town. I know your family's always supported you. I know your dad, I know goes to see you compete a lot. So just, coming from Selma, now being a junior at Michigan State, I mean, just did you ever think this was possible that you'd be a junior at a Division I program, Michigan State, coming from Selma?
When I was younger, I definitely thought it was a reach, but growing up, I realized the opportunities I had and what was provided for me, how my family and the town helped me get national exposure, and I'm just grateful that I was able to reach and attain those goals of being a D1 wrestler.
I know you mentioned last season you broke your hand in the first tournament. How'd you come back from that? What were you going through mentally, after, finally getting on the mat to compete for Michigan State and breaking your hand the first tournament? What was your mindset, after that happened?
So yeah, that was my first big injury like I've ever really had in my life that I had to be really sidelined for. So it was definitely tough physically and mentally. On the physical side, it was just trying to stay in shape and not get back out of shape and be ready to go once it was time for me to hit the mat. But the mental aspect was probably a little bit harder because I had never had an injury like that and had to ever sit out from wrestling. So it was definitely a new experience, and doing physical therapy and stuff was a little bit rough, but it was all worth it. And I came back pretty quick. It was a pretty quick turnaround.
And then just finally, I mean, you guys once again kick off the season on November 5th, at the Michigan State Open. Then I know you got dual. So just what are you going to be working on these next, 2 weeks before the season starts, before you get back on the mat? And then just finally, I mean, just for you personally, I mean, you kind of said you were trying to balance academics and wrestling now, being in person. What's been the hardest challenge so far with doing that?
So the hardest challenge has just been getting up and going to class. The hardest part is getting up and getting there. So I feel like I'm getting a little bit better at that. I haven't been, like I said before, I haven't been used to that in a long time. So that's one of my goals, is to be at every class and attend every class. So yeah.
Cool deal, cool deal. Well, Tristan, once again, I appreciate the time. Good luck this season. I know you got big goals. My thing just fell off, so that happens on when we're live sometimes. But yeah, appreciate the time. We'll talk again soon. Yeah, appreciate it.
Of course, thank you. I appreciate it as well.